the hour.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Maria Kina. If you're still waiting to file your senior property tax freeze application in St. Louis County, you're almost out of time.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. A new and less scary way for kids to get an upper endoscopy. That story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. Hot and humid with sunshine today, high 97. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 107.
Cardinals fans sweated one out and the ball club got a win. And John Mozeliak returns to sports on a Sunday morning as the interim GM of the Angels.
KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Floodwaters in Kentucky and Tennessee now blamed for at least 5 deaths. Pastor Jesse Lanehart in Richmond, Kentucky says flooding washed his church completely away.
A guy called me and said that, your church is gone, and it was just kind of devastating. But, I thank the Lord that nobody was here.
In the West, wildfires are still raging. 3 firefighters killed when they were trapped in the middle of a fire along the Utah-Colorado border. Promises this morning of no more attacks in the Middle East after a violent weekend.
For a few days, what we were seeing was Iran hitting a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, which then would lead the U.S. to retaliate with their strikes. But then over the weekend, Iran launched not just drones, but also missiles towards Bahrain and Kuwait, which, of course, are home to U.S. military bases.
ABC's Selena Wang. Wimbledon starts up today. Serena Williams making her comeback in the singles tomorrow. This is ABC News. One person was killed and another seriously injured in a shooting at a popular entertainment spot in San Jose, California. That spot has been hosting World Cup fan zone screening matches. So according to police, there were no World Cup games being screened at the time of the shooting. Lots of folks are expected to hit the roads and the skies this week ahead of the 4th of July holiday. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
While nearly 5.9 million people are expected to fly, the strongest year-over-year growth is actually coming from other modes of transportation, like cruises, trains, and buses, but driving remains the top choice, with about 85% or so of holiday travelers expected to take a road trip as fuel prices start to cool a bit. Still, the national average for a gallon of gas is up over 61 cents from a year ago. Meanwhile, traffic is expected to start to build in the later part of the week. Thursday could be the worst of it.
The Supreme Court hands down several decisions this week before ending its term for the summer, one of the biggest on birthright citizenship. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02 and we've got clear skies, 77 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. If you drive downtown and use I-44, your drive will be easier today because Friday, the highway reopened over the massive sinkhole at Broadway and Biddle. MoDOT's area engineer, Jen Wade, tells KMOX there are no structural concerns. The highway is safe, as is the support column where the sinkhole opened up 2 weeks ago. There are still some closures.
Because of bypass lines being installed over Broadway, both directions of Broadway right there by Biddle have to remain closed until that work's completed. Because those are closed, that also means the exit from 44, what people really think of as coming from I-70, that exit to Broadway will remain closed for a few weeks. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about their timeline yet.
Both Metropolitan Sewer District and City Water Division have to make repairs around the sinkhole.
Sunday's City SC2 game was paused due to nearby gunshots. City police say that shooting happened around 6:30 in the area of North 17th and Chestnut. That's about 3 blocks east of Energizer Park. A 19 and 20-year-old taken into custody, a firearm recovered.
The match between City 2 and Austin FC 2 was briefly suspended, and fans were told to shelter in place. A statement from City SC reads, in part, in close coordination with the league and local authorities, the game was suspended and later resumed once given the all clear.
6 juveniles taken into custody on Sunday for violating curfew. The curfew ran from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood, including the Grove. City police say 4 of the juveniles had tools to break into cars.
St. Louis City Alderman passed a budget that includes fewer funds for the police department than the state-appointed board approved. Do the new raises for command staff remain?
Chief of Police Robert Tracy says yes, the raises for command staff, some as high as 22%, will be in place no matter which budget is in effect. He says if the city's budget does ultimately win out in the courts, they will have to move some money around.
There's other things that we need to do. We have to look to see where we can find some money, where we can prioritize things.
The raises for command staff amounts to only $1 million. Both Tracy and city leaders acknowledge the budget dispute will only be solved through litigation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The senior tax freeze deadline in St. Louis County is tomorrow.
The process to refile for the second year online should be pretty easy, the county says. The online portal offers the quickest way to file your senior tax freeze application. Now, to avoid long waiting lines and ensure applications are completed before the deadline, residents are strongly encouraged to apply online. Make sure you have your documents before starting the application process. If you want to go in person, the county recommends you book an appointment online. Residents are encouraged to use that online service because the 3 county offices close at 3:30 Monday through Thursday, and they are not open on Fridays. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Governments are looking at ways to make housing cheaper to build, and that means reconsidering safety codes. State Line reporter Robbie Sequeira tells KMOX one proposal being considered at the federal and state level is building smaller apartment buildings with only one stairwell. Researchers say other fire safety measures compensate. Not everyone agrees.
Firefighters I've talked to have said that, when they're answering a call, whether there's a smoke or fire in a home, that they really take up that stairwell. So it could complicate exit strategies for tenants if they're caught in buildings.
Learn more this morning at 8:10 on KMOX.
Gas prices are almost 11 cents less today than they were last week. The average price for a gallon in the St. Louis region, $3.70, according to Gas Buddy. That's almost 59 cents cheaper than a month ago, but 72 cents higher than a year ago.
AAA says there will be more people traveling this 4th of July holiday than ever before. KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg says planes will be full.
But not because more people are traveling by air, but because there are fewer flights and airfares are still going up. That's going to be a problem, but they will be full.
Greenberg tells Total Information AM, even if oil prices come down, airfares are going to stay up.
They're basically in a survival mode now because their fuel bill has gone up on certain airlines by $1 billion per airline, and they're trying to figure out how to recoup those losses.
Pride Fest attendees were on their feet for En Vogue, the headliner Sunday afternoon when temperatures soared to more than 95 degrees. It didn't dampen the mood of the crowd.
Some attendees felt Pride Fest had even more importance this year.
Better vibe, than the current political aspect that we have every day. This is a better vibe.
Another attendee said he was glad to see the turnout, even though some companies, like his own employer, have stopped participating.
It is 6:07. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it's a look at traffic and weather. This is KMOX.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering from Missouri means more than just protecting our wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most. Your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, we're coming up on 6:10, and it's time for Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are looking good out there right now, Tom. Easy going on the highways, getting a little busier, but it really doesn't look bad, as you mentioned in the news. And I think I mentioned earlier that eastbound and westbound 44 open between the Musical Veterans and Poplar Bridges. They did that Friday, but it still looks like that the exit downtown at Broadway, that exit's still closed. Again, that's right near where the sinkhole happened, so you may not have access, everywhere, but interstate-wise, you can travel through downtown between the bridges. So that's the best news. I believe the express lanes are still closed, but again, not a lot of people use those. And since the highway's not closed, we'll keep tabs on it and see if you get backups, but I wouldn't anticipate obviously no jams like what we had when the interstate was shut down. So right now it looks good there. It looks good everywhere else. Just a heads up, at some point today, they didn't give it an exact start time. It may have been midnight. I don't know. But West Watson is scheduled to be closed for 3 months starting today between Weber Hill and Pagoda Drive, which is basically the entrance to Tapawingo. So for all practical purposes, unless you live in Tapawingo or are playing golf there, it's really closed. West Watson is between Weber Hill and Rott Road over in Sunset Hills. And again, that's for the next 3 months. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, hot today with sunshine and a high of 97. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 107. Warm and muggy with patchy clouds and a low of 78 tonight. Then the sweltering heat continues for tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll have sun much of the time. Highs of 99 with AccuWeather real field temperatures of 105 to 110. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is mostly sunny right now and 77 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:11. Mayor Kara Spencer took a trip to the nation's capital last week seeking funds for tornado victims. Who did she meet with?
Mayor Spencer said she met with senators and congressmen representing St. Louis, along with a representative of HUD, as she seeks a community development block grant that could amount to more than $100 million. However, Spencer acknowledged these funds are at the mercy of higher-ups within the House. Asked if she met with Speaker Johnson's office.
I was just there for one day, and we did focus on our representation and our delegation. And look, these are the folks that we're relying on to get the job done. And they do represent our best interests. And this is not going to be my last trip to D.C.
Spencer said she did not get a timeline or any guarantees if or when St. Louis would receive a grant, but added she is hopeful. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri courts handled more than 1.4 million cases last year. As we approach the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the state's top judge is highlighting the invisible foundation of the justice system.
In a speech calling for patriotic unity among Missourians ahead of the 4th, Chief Justice Brent Powell says the architects of the nation built a government where people could propose competing ideas. He says through reasoned debate, those ideas form our body of law.
The founders recognized our inherent right to disagree, but it is essential. We as the people of one nation accept and agree to be bound by this body of law. This enduring commitment to the rule of law has made our nation great for the last 250 years and will continue to make it great for centuries to come.
Powell says our courts are run by hardworking people that live in our communities. He adds, while judges sometimes have to make decisions they personally dislike, he says they still have an oath.
But as public servants, we all willingly accept this responsibility, no matter how difficult or distasteful the circumstance. We must always adhere to the rule of law and abide by our oaths, doing what the Constitution and the law require.
Powell says the challenges in court today pale in comparison to the risks the founders took 2.5 centuries ago. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed 3 more bills during Pride Week. The laws aimed at protecting private medical information, expanding hormone therapy access, and creating a process for choosing gender markers on Illinois IDs and driver's licenses. Here's Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Today's bill signing is just one more example of our commitment to protecting LGBTQ plus Illinoisans in every corner of our state and making sure you have everything you need to thrive. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be safe. You certainly deserve to be joyful. And you deserve the freedom to be authentically you.
Busch Stadium yesterday, the Cardinals and the Marlins. Brian Torres hit a home run in the second inning that helped give the Cardinals a lead here 2-0. They opened things up with J.J. Weatherholt with a leadoff single. That was a good sign for the offense. But the offense didn't have much after that. Torres hit a home run to put them up 2-0. So it meant pitching. They had to have it. You know who's had a sneaky good month here? Kyle Leahy.
2-2 pitch. Leahy into the windup. The pitch, a check swing, but he did not check it. He couldn't hold up, and a strikeout of Stowers. 2 in the inning for Leahy.
Ricky Horton with the call on KMOX. We move to the 5th.
The 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. Here it is for Otto Lopez. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Doing the sweeper away off the plate. And Leahy strikes out Lopez, leaving the tying run at third.
Kyle Leahy with another nice outing. He went 6 1/3 scoreless his last time out. And yesterday against the Marlins, he pitched 5 innings. He allowed a run on just 2 hits and walked 3, but he struck out 5. And for the month of June, 1-1 with a 3.76 ERA. He made 5 starts. And over those 26 1/3 innings, he had 21 strikeouts. A nice bounce back for Kyle Leahy, who had a few struggles here and there. But he could only go 5 innings. It was a hot day yesterday, and Leahy threw 87 pitches. 57 were strikes. So they leaned on the bullpen. Jojo Romero, an inning and a third scoreless. Ryan Stanek, 2/3 of an inning scoreless. George Soriano and Riley O'Brien to close it out with a 2-1 lead.
1 out, top of the 9th. A 1-run lead for the Cardinals. The pitch to Hernandez. Strike 3 called, and that's being challenged. It's a strike.
The pitch is a strike. Miami has 1 challenge remaining.
1 challenge remaining, 1 out to go.
A big strikeout right there for O'Brien in the 9th inning. Can he finish it off? Here's the call from John Rooney.
The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to first. Backhanded by Burleson. He kicks the bag for a Red Bird winner. Shoot off the fireworks in downtown St. Louis.
The Cardinals get the win 2-1 at Busch Stadium. They salvage a game in the series. They'll open up a series at Atlanta tomorrow, and then the weekend, July 4th weekend at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. How about Sonny Gray yesterday in a 5-4 10-inning win for the Red Sox over the Yankees? Gray took a no-hitter into the 8th inning, also recorded his 2,000th career strikeout. The man who brought Sonny Gray to St. Louis was on KMOX yesterday. It was John Mozeliak, now the interim GM of the Angels. I have to admit, when I saw your picture there with the Angels logo behind you, the first thing I thought of for whatever reason was I had a flashback to the end of the 11 season when Albert signed there. And I thought, man, isn't it something how sports and how life work that Mo's back up there? I mean, that's really something to me.
Yeah, I suppose there's parallels there, but the difference is I guess we were both free agents, and here we are.
Yeah,
so
it
is funny.
I know. You think about that. So, and then how did that initially come about? I mean, you just described a little bit about why you wanted to go. So they reached out to you. Obviously, you're a name that carries a lot of credibility, and you've talked already about your relationship with Molly. It seems to be Molly Jolly. It seems to be a good fit so far.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And, a lot of this happened quickly. We've been in discussions for a few weeks, and the scope of the job kept evolving. But in the end, I just think it's a really unique opportunity. And, just looking forward to the challenge. Obviously there's a lot of history here. A lot of great players have come through here. They've had a lot of success going back 20 years ago, but they're just not on the right path at the moment. And hopefully myself and others can get them back to where they need to be.
John Mozeliak on Sports on a Sunday Morning. Much more coming this morning. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Gamma Tree Experts, your trees deserve the best care. They deserve Gamma Tree Experts. They do all kinds of services throughout the St. Louis area. And does the St. Louis area have trees? You ever fly over St. Louis and see how green it is? See all of the trees throughout our area? The odds are Gamma Tree Experts has taken a look at a tree near you. They are the experts. They provide tree pruning services, among many, for homeowners in St. Louis County and the surrounding communities. And as a local tree service company with over 70 years of experience now, they understand how Missouri's climate affects tree health. Their local insights enable them to handle the challenges of our local weather and what that poses to your trees, keeping them healthy for years to come. They do crown thinning. That's the removal of select branches from dense tree canopies to allow more sunlight and air to pass through. I didn't know about crown thinning, but they showed us what they do there. They do structural pruning. They even do shrub and hedge pruning. They're Gamma Tree Experts. Visit them online, gammatree.com. Gamma Tree Experts since 1954. Your trees deserve the best care.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:21 and time for traffic and weather. And Roger Brand starts us off. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still not bad out there overall, Debbie. Pretty good run going so far this Monday morning. This traffic reports a service of S&L Coins. I do see a little bit of a slowdown, though, on the south side. Northbound 55 starting to bog down just a bit, approaching 141 as you head up to the Merrimack River Bridge in that construction area. Also, a little bit of a slowdown on 255 eastbound. Looks like we have an incident. Can't tell if it's a stall or a minor crash east of the JB Bridge. There's a little bit of a delay there. Now, they did just dispatch EMS for an injury crash reported on Highway 21 at Highway Y in the DeSoto area. I do see a little bit of a backup north of Y, northbound, so I'm assuming that's where the accident is. So emergency crews are on the way, and there's just, again, a brief jam at that location so far. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
That weather forecast from AccuWeather's Heather Zare. Sunny and hot, danger of dehydration, and extreme heat warning in effect through Thursday. A high today of 97, but it's going to feel like 107. There is a danger of heat stroke if you're outside for extended periods of time today. Partly cloudy tonight, warm and muggy, low 78. Tomorrow, much of the same. Sunny, sweltering heat, a high of 99. Real feels near 110. It's 77 right now.
You're listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. As the nation celebrates 250 years, St. Louis will also look to the future. The city's 4th of July party, Celebrate 250, will invite visitors to Innovation Village. Cindy Brinkley is co-chair of the exhibit.
When we first started thinking about Celebrate 250 and what that means, we're really celebrating our country's past, what we've created. And what we wanted to do with Innovation Village is not only, we all know about the amazing past that St. Louis has had and what it's meant to the world, actually. But I think what's not clearly understood is what's happening currently in St. Louis and its impact on the future.
Brinkley says St. Louis has innovative ecosystems.
We're looking at what we call 5 frontiers, and these are frontiers that where St. Louis is having a real impact. One is around seeing the world, as we call it. We make a mark, if you will, in space and aviation and geospatial. And it's amazing what we're doing there, and honestly, not well known. And so we feature that. We also talk about our next frontier, which is feeding the world, and that's around plant science and agriculture. And really, St. Louis is transforming how food is grown, it's distributed, it's sustained through our plant science and precision agriculture. Next, we talk about healing the world and medicine and health and all of the incredible breakthroughs that are going on in medicine and research and care, and really discovering real world outcomes. And next, around the planet, conservation. A little known about what happens here with the Missouri Botanical Garden, with the St. Louis Zoo, with Wild Care Park, and the impact that all of these institutions have around the world and on the world. And our final frontier is around powering the world, our manufacturing, our logistics, our production, and what we do in terms of doing at scale, delivering products, services, systems.
The free walkthrough exhibit will help visitors see the links between organizations and their outreach to the world.
Parents as Teachers is one, the Oasis Institute, the Opportunity Trust, what the National Urban League does, its impact in the country. And so we really talk about our innovating for good as well. When the Zoo Museum District was created in the early 1970s, that in and of itself was such an innovation, and it's led to our world-class institutions that we have with the St. Louis Zoo, with the Botanical Garden, with the Missouri History Museum. And so we talk about that as well because, with not only with there's innovation on the people side, and there's obviously innovation with the technology.
There are too many organizations to mention. Visitors will have to see it for themselves.
We hope that by sharing this with St. Louisans, they too can see, oh my gosh, we really are well positioned for the future. We have an impact not only regionally but globally, and it's a very exciting time for the region, for St. Louis.
That's Innovation Village co-chair Cindy Brinkley. Washington University in St. Louis is the presenting sponsor for Innovation Village. The exhibit will be at Live by Lowe's, adjacent to the ballpark in the Cardinal Ballroom. It is free and open to visitors of all ages, July 3rd, noon to 6, and July 4th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We will get more on this story coming up at 8:24. Right now it's 6:27, and that time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Missouri Athletic Club and its pool. Missouri Athletic Club actually has 2 pools that are utilized throughout the year. One of them is the indoor pool downtown, set 5 floors above the city streets in the historic downtown clubhouse. A great way to help maintain a consistent routine throughout the year, an elevated, quiet setting in our downtown clubhouse. And then there's the outdoor pool at the MAC West. It is the place to be in the summer months for a good old-fashioned summer party, families, relaxation, and a casual recreation in mind. The space offers a true summer water park feel while maintaining the standards of the Missouri Athletic Club. It is a great place to be, but it's also a great place to eat and drink and enjoy company. Missouri Athletic Club has lifeguards on duty during operating hours. It is a big open swimming pool with loads of poolside seating and a diving board, which is always fun to watch the kids and sometimes adults go off of that. The Missouri Athletic Club mac-stl.org.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 6:30. We've got sunshine already. It's 77 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's go over to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a few more folks getting on the roadways. It still doesn't look terrible if you're coming up on 55. In fact, we had a little bit of a slowdown 10 minutes ago coming through 141. It looks better there now. We do have the slowdown on westbound 255 approaching the JB Bridge. We had an incident in the area there earlier, so there's a little bit more of a delay on westbound 255 running through there. And on 21 at Highway Y in DeSoto, I believe it's just north of Y. They're saying it's an overturned vehicle accident. It's about midway between Y and 110. Where I'm seeing the delays. Not a jam, but it is slow both directions. I believe they have one lane or one direction shut down and are alternating traffic past that overturned vehicle crash. Look good out west, southbound 61 coming down onto eastbound 64 or 70. No issues there. And on the Illinois side, things are still rolling along 64 in Fairview Heights, clear sailing across the bridges downtown as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is, going to be like the rest of the week. Really, really hot. Extreme heat warning in effect through Thursday. So today it's going to be 97, but it's going to feel like it's 107 in the afternoon. Mostly sunny and hot. Tomorrow, 99. Wednesday, same thing. It's like this all the way through 4th of July. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Right now, it's not bad out there, though. It's 77 degrees.
It's 6:32. More violence over the weekend in St. Louis. 3 people were killed, 5 injured during several shootings from Saturday and Sunday. 3 women were shot, and a 26-year-old woman was killed yesterday after a shooting in the 1300 block of Washington Avenue.
About 4 a.m. Sunday, police say a 20-year-old man was shot in the neck after a large fight broke out between several unknown people. At a Quick Trip in the 6900 block of Gravois Saturday, another shooting left 1 man dead, another injured.
The father of a 7-month-old girl is charged with second-degree murder after a 10-year-old shot and killed the infant. It happened Friday afternoon at a house in the Baden neighborhood. Police say 19-year-old Vamarian Pawnell admitted to leaving the gun under a mattress. The 10-year-old has been charged with first-degree murder, making him the youngest person in Missouri history to face the charge.
With the Board of Aldermen passing a budget below what the state-appointed police commissioners approved, does this impact raises for command staff? No, according to Chief of Police Robert Tracy, who says even if the city's lesser budget wins in the courts, they will find a way to make the raises fit.
Budgets are always speculations. These are things that where you need to be, you end up moving money around towards the end of the year.
The raises ultimately amount to a little over $1 million.
Saturday there was rain, Sunday the sweltering heat, but the crowds came out for Pride Fest.
Oh, it's great. I like this. Music, people having a good time.
Icona Pop and En Vogue were the headliners Sunday afternoon.
I'm glad that people still come out. My employer did not, WashU, because the DEI executive orders still being litigated. Did not have a group marching as we had for the past 10 years, but I'm glad to see that people are still coming out to reinforce the idea that we need not to be put back in the closet.
Thousands line Market Street Sunday for the 46th annual Pride Parade.
News is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34.
It's not really a sports show. It's just a show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad. And now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
6:35, your Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon Ganner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Verizon is calling up a new partnership. Verizon and the UK telecom company BT Group have agreed to create a joint venture for their international businesses. Verizon has a large international portfolio that includes wireline assets, private networks, and cybersecurity consulting services, but not the consumer wireless side of the business that it's best known for in the U.S. The venture should have a combined yearly revenue of about $4 billion. Turning to trading, the U.S. and Iran have agreed to stop attacking each other before peace talks resume this week, and that is supporting stocks. S&P futures are rising 53 points. Dow futures are gaining 200. And Uber is tightening driver background checks and applying new standards retroactively to existing workers. Starting today, Uber is expanding the number of criminal convictions that will disqualify a driver from working on its platform. The policy will lead to the removal of tens of thousands of existing workers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi? For what?
Better not to know.
Get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in your price for 5 years and see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 6:39 after a weekend of attacks from both Iran and the United States. A U.S. official now confirms that both sides have agreed to stop any more strikes and resume peace negotiations as soon as tomorrow. Also putting the ceasefire in jeopardy, Israel has launched new attacks this morning on what it calls 3 Hezbollah command centers in southern Lebanon. That has pushed oil prices higher overnight, even though drivers have seen gas prices come down steadily. Prices have dropped an average of 60 cents per gallon in the last month.
It is now 6:40. Time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather. Roger Brandt is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're getting a little busier on the highways, Debbie, and got a couple of injury crashes. This traffic reports service of I-3 broadband. One of them I've been talking about, the overturned vehicle crash on Highway 21. It's about midway between Y and 110 in the DeSoto area. Heavy traffic running through there. And then we have one emergency crews just arrived on the scene for one Big Bend at Forest Park Parkway over in the Clayton U City area. So, again, watch for restrictions and delays at that point. Eastbound 30, heavy up the hill from Mauer to 270. Don't forget, West Watson scheduled to be closed starting today for the next 3 months between Weber Hill and Pagoda Drive. So that's basically Weber Hill over to the Rott Road. Pagoda Drive's the entrance to Chapawingo, so you can get that far to the west or south, but then it's going to be shut down again for the next 3 months. Westbound 255, they cleared that incident near the JB Bridge, so things look better there. It is slow. Doherty Fair up the hill to Manchester on North 270, however. On the Illinois side, things still look great on the interstates. With the kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare. That heat hit us hard yesterday, and it's staying around for a while.
Yep, we really don't see much of a break in that heat anytime soon. Yesterday was already 94 degrees. I think we add a few more degrees to that today. It'll be sunny and hot with a high of 97. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 107 this afternoon. Then tonight stays warm and quite muggy. Much like this morning, we're only going to get down to the upper 70s. And then it's mostly sunny as that sweltering heat continues tomorrow. Highs in the upper 90s, close to 100 with real feels near 110. We may have a few more clouds around Wednesday, still back up to 99. Real feels 105 to 110. And the heat and hazy conditions continue along with the humidity on Thursday. There is a chance for an afternoon thunderstorm. Temperatures may drop back a few degrees, but still at 96 for a high. 95 with a better chance for a thunderstorm Friday, partly sunny, and then partly sunny, hot and humid, high 96 for the 4th. 78 in St. Peters, 77 in Florissant, 78 downtown at the Arch right now. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:43. 14 new laws and a new state budget are taking effect in Illinois this week. The changes cover everything from to-go cocktails to AI.
Illinois lawmakers are cracking down on artificial intelligence. People posting unauthorized or sexual AI images will face cyberbullying charges. Prosecutors can also file child porn charges for AI-generated explicit images of children. The state's roughly $56 billion budget takes effect, Governor J.B. Pritzker says the spending plan makes life more affordable. Republican critics say the budget continues a trend of unsustainable spending. Also starting July 1st,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Restaurants and bars can now sell to-go cocktails permanently in the state of Illinois. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Well, Stuart, a wet spring could mean more mosquitoes this summer.
All that rain means high creeks and ponds that have moving water turnover, but entomologist Emily Althoff says the standing water is the problem. Things like old tires and bird baths.
Tip it over, make sure that there's no water in there that could potentially be habitat for those mosquito larvae.
There are dozens of species of mosquito in Missouri.
And a subset of those are pests to humans, and a subset of those are ones that are biting us and things that we really don't like to have around. And even within mosquitoes, the females are the ones that are actually biting us. The males typically will only eat the nectar from plants, but the females need that blood meal in order to reproduce.
A couple of those species can carry West Nile virus. It's the most common disease we see from mosquitoes in Missouri. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
All right, here's your World Cup schedule for today. It's Brazil and Japan. This is a knockout round now. This is a round of 32. No more group stage play, wondering who's in and who's out. You win, you move on. You lose, it's over. Brazil and Japan play at noon today in Houston. Then at 3:30, Germany and Paraguay, who the United States played earlier in the group stage. That game will be played in Boston. And tonight in Monterrey, Mexico, it's the Netherlands against Morocco. Last night, it was a win. Finishing up, it was Canada beating South Africa to move on to the round of 16. The United States will play Bosnia and Herzegovina on Wednesday, July 1st. Cardinals have the day off today. They are taking on the Miami Marlins at Busch Stadium yesterday with Brian Torres coming through.
Wynn takes a good lead at first base. The pitch. Torres swings and hits it a mile. That's a home run to right field for Torres. 2-0 Cardinals.
That was enough, as it turned out, for Kyle Leahy and crew. Leahy went 5 innings. He gave up a run on just 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 5, and then the Cardinal bullpen able to seal the deal. The bullpen was strong against the Marlins, with JoJo Romero pitching an inning and a third scoreless, Ryan Stanek with 2/3 of an inning, and then the 8th handled by George Soriano, and the 9th, Riley O'Brien. He gets his 20th save, and the Cardinals win the ball game 2-1. A big win for them as they avoid the sweep and try to get some good vibes going with the day off today. They're heading down to Atlanta to take on a good Braves team, although the Braves have slipped a little bit here in the standings. The Braves right now are just 3 games in front of the Phillies in the National League East. The Brewers continue to lead the Central by 5.5 over the Cardinals and 5.5 over the Cubs, 7 over the Cardinals. And the Dodgers are dominating the West by 10 games over the Padres. The NL wildcard race, it goes Phillies, Cubs, Cardinals. Those are the top 3 right now. The Padres sit a half game out along with the Marlins. I had a chance to visit yesterday with former Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, now the interim GM of the Angels. There was a lot of discussion over the weekend about the fact that Mozeliak hadn't visited yet with the top dog of the Angels. You still have a lot of people to talk to. I think a lot was made of your comment that you had not visited with Artie Moreno just yet, who is, as people would know, the owner of the team. So there's still a lot that you have to do.
No, for sure. But I really think it's a compliment to him allowing Molly to go out and address the needs. I think there's a lot made of owners and how they interact with teams. And from this standpoint, I think Mr. Moreno understands that things have to be different, and he's embracing that, and I think that's exciting.
John Mozeliak visiting with the president of the team who brought him in. That would be Molly Jolly. And as for Mozeliak, his task now is to get the team ready for the draft, which is in 2 weeks. I'm Tom Ackerman. Ins and outs coming up next hour, but Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. What a great place that is, St. Louis Composting. 9 different locations in the St. Louis area. There's one near you. And what we did was had them deliver the mulch to us. Yes, they have mulch, all different kinds. They have compost, they have soil. And this is absolutely the time of year to make sure that you're on top of that, because the drought conditions that we went through last year, you want to make sure that you are addressing your soil, your compost, your mulch, your gardens, your landscape areas. Keep that moisture locked in. At St. Louis Composting, they transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost. It's through a 6-month static composting process. They're the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area, St. Louis Composting. You can visit them online at stlcompost.com and choose what you want from their menu of services. You can have them deliver right to your home or business at stlcompost.com, or you can back your truck or trailer up to one of their locations. They're all over the St. Louis area, and fill it up, and you're on your way. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
Mizzou football is almost here. Get ready for the season opening kickoff and Como game on Thursday, September 3rd, with 4 tickets for only $80. Be there to see the finished Memorial Stadium Centennial Project, a deal for the entire family to enjoy the home opener. Let's keep the sellout streak alive and bring the energy as we kick off the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium. Purchase your 4 tickets for $80 at mutigers.com/kickoff in Como. MIZ.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon.
So I think most importantly, don't ignore a spot that's changing, because early detection can save lives, and a quick skin check today could prevent a much bigger problem down the road.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's going on 6:51. We need to check the roadways if you're heading out the door right now. Let's see if there are problems. Roger Brand's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the interstates don't look bad, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America 4th of July concert series. We just have some slow traffic on northbound 270 from about Big Bend through Doherty Ferry. It sorts itself out as you approach Manchester. And south 270, just a little congestion so far getting into that work zone right at Ladue. Southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 coming in from out west through St. Charles County across the Missouri River bridges looks good. I'm still seeing restrictions both ways, just short backups both directions on Highway 21. An overturned vehicle crash about midway between Y and 110 on the north side of DeSoto there is the reason why. It really hasn't gotten much worse, so that's good news. And I just see very minimal delays so far. Big Bend at Forest Park Parkway, that's where he had an injury crash as well. Things on the Illinois side look great. 64 through Fairview Heights, clear sailing across the bridges downtown. And again, 44 has been reopened between the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Freedom 250. Join the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America July 1st through July 7th across St. Louis as we celebrate America's 250-year legacy with free concerts. No tickets required. Details at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a hot day today, an extreme heat warning in effect through Thursday. AccuWeather's Heather Zaire says mostly sunny and hot. Danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you're outside for extended periods of time. High 97. Real field temperatures up to 107. Tonight, low 78 and muggy. Tomorrow, sunny, high 99. Real feels near 110. Currently, we have a mostly clear sky, 78 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. The University of Missouri's margins are tightening because spending is higher than profits.
MU's Executive Vice President of Finance and Operations, Ryan Rapp, asked the Board of Curators to move forward with a $5.5 billion operating budget for fiscal year 2027.
Just kind of overall, if you step back where we're projecting to end this year as to what we're budgeting We see revenue growing at about 3.5%, and then our expenses growing a little above 3.75%.
This comes after the board approved a tuition increase last month, raising undergraduate rates by about 4%, or roughly about $286 per semester for a full-time student. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Many of us are preparing to hit the road, and TSA says it's expecting to screen about 18.7 million passengers between Tuesday and July 6th, with Thursday, July 2nd, projected to be the busiest day. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
While nearly 5.9 million people are expected to fly, the strongest year-over-year growth is actually coming from other modes of transportation, like cruises, trains, and buses, but driving remains the top choice, with about 85% or so of holiday travelers expected to take a road trip as fuel prices start to cool a bit. Still, the national average for a gallon of gas is up over 61 cents from a year ago. Meanwhile, traffic is expected to start to build in the later part of the week. Thursday could be the worst of it.
Still trying to squeeze some summer travel in? We asked KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg for some economical ways families can make that happen.
Well, you know what? If they're looking to go overseas, look for where the U.S. dollar is very strong against some foreign currencies. That's where you're going to find the bargains. You'll find them in Turkey. You'll find them in South Africa. You'll find them in places where the dollar is strongest. But in the U.S., it's going to be the summer of the domestic road trip, whether you like it or not. We have the 250th birthday of America, not to mention the 100th birthday of Route 66, and that's where people are going to be.
A shark encounter in the Bahamas turned terrifying for a Texas family during their vacation. ABC's Morgan Norwood.
I just thought I was going to die. Speaking first to GMA, 12-year-old Parker Roll and his brother Jack describing the frightening moment he came face to face with a shark while swimming off a secluded beach in the Bahamas with his family.
I see this, what looks like a rock. I was like, oh, it's a rock. And then see it comes closer to me. I was like, oh, it's a Nerf shark. Oh, it's a really big Nerf shark. And then it goes towards Parker and I keep swimming. And then 2 seconds later, I hear an ear-piercing scream.
What Jack thought was a typically docile nurse shark was actually an 8 to 10 foot reef shark latching onto Parker's leg.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
And the fans here in St. Louis are chanting, "We want Dan." They want Dan Deerdorf. And Dan Deerdorf taking the jacket off, number 72.
From 1983, Dan Deerdorf's final play at Busch Stadium with snow on the ground. They're roaring for number 72. Happy birthday, Dan. The Pro Football Hall of Famer, KMOX's very own Dan Deerdorf is 77.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Jill Hodges. Happy 34th anniversary, Kathy and Kevin Adams. Tim Adams, happy birthday from mom and dad. Happy birthday wishes going out to, let's see, we've got Linda Winkler. Happy 87th, Dee Kennedy, Carolyn Gregory Switzer, Gloria Schmerbach, Linda Carney, Don Herbeck, Pat Goat. Also, Steve Strait and Johnny and Nancy Miller from the Life Group. Happy birthday wishes to Norman McGowan. Anna Wissman from Grandma and Grandpa Wiss. Michael Egan from all your St. Dismas friends. Happy third birthday, Kathy Winchell from the Springs. And birthday wishes going out to Ryan Farmer and Elizabeth McNulty.
This is the best birthday ever.
McKelvey Homes goes back to 1898. McKelvey Homes right here in St. Louis, Missouri's oldest home builder. McKelvey Homes, communities throughout the St. Louis area that will just wow you. When you go to McKelveyhomes.com, you'll see them all. And that's one of the great things about them is they not only create the best homes, they find the best home sites. Their website, McKelveyhomes.com, will tell you right then and there how perfect these are. All of the properties, all the prices, ways to save money, pictures of stunning homes and landscape, a long-standing tradition of quality craftsmanship. McKelvey Homes has exceptional value, and they are committed to the highest standards of excellence. So whether you choose one of their thoughtfully designed communities or you prefer a custom home on your own lot, they do that too. McKelvey Homes builds in the most sought-after locations. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, interstate-wise, we're doing pretty good. We just have a little bit of a slowdown bump north of Big Bend through Doherty Ferry right now on North 270 and South 270. Just a very brief slowdown at Ladue. Otherwise, interstates on both sides of the river are moving great now. On Highway 21 down in DeSoto, it is currently shut down now about midway between Y and 110, so they can clear that overturned vehicle crash. So they're going to have it shut down for the next several minutes. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Deadly wildfires in the west and deadly flooding in the east. 3 firefighters killed along the Colorado-Utah border fighting one of the raging wildfires there. The death toll in the flooding in Tennessee and Kentucky is now up to at least 5 people.
Heat alerts have been issued for more than 100 million Americans from Kansas to Massachusetts. But as the U.S. heats up, Western Europe is cooling down after a week of record-breaking heat. Officials in France saying at least 1,000 deaths were reported during one of the worst heat waves on record. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Hundreds of aftershocks in Venezuela after last week's deadly earthquakes. Search teams are still looking for survivors. NBC Universal is heading out on its own. Comcast this morning announcing it is splitting itself into 2 companies. Comcast will keep the internet and technology side of the business, while NBC Universal will take film and TV studios as well as theme parks. This is ABC News. Continued fighting in the Middle East over the weekend. The United States striking Iran and Iran striking U.S. allies, Bahrain and Kuwait.
All this uncertainty from the Middle East has pushed oil prices higher overnight. But here at home, drivers have seen gas prices come down steadily. Prices have dropped an average of 60 cents per gallon in the last month. The national average is now $3.79, although that is still 85 cents higher than before the war with Iran started.
ABC's Karen Hua, a U.S. official, confirms to ABC News that both Iran and the United States have agreed to stop fighting this week so that discussions on a permanent ceasefire can take place. Millions of people have fallen off the rolls of health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. New government numbers show enrollment in February was down by 3 million people compared to last year. Experts say it's likely connected to the end of federal subsidies for premiums and the much higher cost for those who can't get health insurance through work. This is ABC News.
It is 7:02. It's 79 degrees already with sunshine and a few clouds downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We are in an extreme heat warning. It's in effect through Thursday. We'll tell you more about that coming up in 8 minutes. More violence over the weekend in St. Louis. 3 people were killed, 5 were injured during several shootings from Saturday and Sunday. 3 women were shot. 26-year-old woman was killed yesterday after a shooting in the 1300 block of Washington Avenue.
Around 4 a.m. Sunday, police say a 20-year-old man was shot in the neck and later died after a large fight broke out between some unknown people. At a quick trip in the 6900 block of Gravois Saturday, another shooting left one man dead, another injured.
Sunday's City 2 game was paused due to a nearby shooting. City police say the shooting happened around 6:30 p.m. in the area of North 17th and Chestnut, which is roughly 3 blocks east of Energizer Park. A 19 and 20-year-old were taken into custody, and one firearm was recovered.
The match between City SC2 and Austin FC2 was briefly suspended. Fans told to shelter in place. A statement from the team reads in part, in close coordination with the league and local authorities, the game was suspended and later resumed once given the all clear.
6 juveniles were taken into custody on Sunday for violating police curfew. The curfew ran from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood, including the Grove. City police say 4 of the juveniles had tools to break into cars, and a 16-year-old had a gun.
After the Board of Aldermen passed a budget that includes less funding for police than their state-appointed commissioners approved, will the new and controversial raises for command staff still be included?
The city and state-appointed police board are in the middle of litigation over which budget will ultimately take effect. However, Chief of Police Robert Tracy says no matter which budget wins, the raises remain.
I wouldn't make it that dire, but we're looking at what we have now, what we think we can have.
The spokesperson for the department says the raises amount to $1 million, so it won't be difficult to move the money around if the city's budget wins. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's that time again. If you have not filed your application in St. Louis County for the senior property tax freeze, you're almost out of time. The deadline is tomorrow.
The county insists that's the fastest and easiest way to file your application online, especially if that's the way you did it last year. You only need to verify that you still live at the same address. You do not have to resubmit original documents. Because of limited staffing, the County Department of Revenue urges residents to apply or renew your senior property tax freeze application online. The 3 county offices are only open Monday through Thursday until 3:30. Fridays, they are completely closed. This was implemented a few weeks ago because of budget cuts. To apply, go to stlouiscountymo.gov. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A lack of affordable housing has states like Illinois and Missouri reconsidering how apartments are built.
There's a housing crunch, availability, affordability, and lawmakers are trying to figure out ways to, push different levers of affordability. Zoning has been one of those changes, but now it's going to building code.
That's State Line reporter Robbie Sequara. He tells KMOX governments are looking at easing building requirements. That includes building some apartment buildings with only one stairway. We'll find out more details about this at 8:10 on Total Information AM.
I-44 downtown over the giant sinkhole at Broadway and Biddle reopened Friday, but MoDOT's area engineer Jen Wade tells KMOX the area around the hole will remain closed.
Utilities under the bridge still need to repair their lines. So MSD has a large sewer line that needs to be repaired, as well as city water has lines still needing to be replaced.
Wade says because of bypass lines being installed over Broadway, it needs to remain closed until the repairs are completed, and the exit from 44 to Broadway will remain closed.
Gas prices almost 11 cents lower than they were last week at this time. The average price per gallon in the St. Louis region, $3.70 today, according to Gas Buddy. That's almost 59 cents cheaper than a month ago, but still 72 cents higher than a year ago.
AAA says there will be more people traveling this 4th of July than ever before. KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg says planes will be full.
But not because more people are traveling by air, but because there are fewer flights and airfares are still going up. That's going to be a problem, but they will be full.
Greenberg tells Total Information AM, even if oil prices come down, airfares are going to stay up.
They're basically in a survival mode now because their fuel bill has gone up on certain airlines by $1 billion per airline, and they're trying to figure out how to recoup those losses.
Rain on Saturday, sweltering heat on Sunday didn't keep people away from Pride Fest in downtown St. Louis. That's Icona Pop. They and En Vogue were the headliners Sunday afternoon.
The weekend included the Grand Parade, a wreath laying at Soldiers Memorial, and a number of vendors.
It's so much fun, and the community is really good this year. A lot of people.
It's 7:07, traffic and weather next.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I like to joke, and I say it all the time, my My work with FanDuel Sportsbook goes well beyond the time that it came online in Missouri. I used to have to travel to play. Not anymore. Now I get to play at home, and you can too, whether it's baseball season, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and now soccer. On the biggest stage of the world, FanDuel is stepping up. They are changing the game because sometimes the player you've got gets subbed off and your bet goes off with them, but not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. So that's right. So if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it to the final whistle. No need to go anywhere. You just hang in there. You still got your shot. But visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. Super easy to do. And let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 7:10. The sun is bright. The heat is on, ladies and gentlemen. We have an extreme heat warning in effect through Thursday. It is going to be really hot all the way through the 4th of July at least. More details on that coming up in just a moment. But first, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news down in DeSoto, Debbie. Just about 3 minutes ago, something like that, they reopened Highway 21 midway between 110 and Highway Y. So traffic's still jammed in the area through the DeSoto area on 21 there, but the lanes have been reopened. They cleared that. That was an overturned vehicle crash that occurred a little while ago. If you're on northbound 270, it's slow approaching Doherty Ferry up to Manchester. South 270, south of Olive through Ladou's, kind of heavy through the work zone. Seeing a little bit of a backup on 141 at Creve Coeur Mill Road, it looks like. Maybe signal problems. Southbound is the only direction I'm seeing. That could be a crash as well, I guess. Downtown, we still look okay. Eastbound 70, of course, 44 is open between the bridges, and eastbound 70 headed on to 44. Looks great. It looks to me like the express lanes are still closed, but there's not enough volume to slow you down. And we have delays both directions on 255, basically from the Godfrey area where 255 ends over to Seminary Road in that construction area currently. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, AccuWeather's Heather Zaire says we are in an extreme heat warning through Thursday. Mostly sunny and hot today. There is a danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you are outside for extended periods of time. Please use caution today. A high of 97, real field temperatures up to 107 this afternoon. We're on repeat tomorrow after a low of 78 overnight. Mostly sunny tomorrow. Sweltering heat will continue. A high of 99. It's going to feel like near 110. Currently, it's 79 with a clear sky downtown at the Arch.
It is now 7:12, and the news continues. The father of a 7-month-old girl is charged with second-degree murder after a 10-year-old shot and killed the baby. It happened Friday afternoon at a house in the Baden neighborhood. Police say 19-year-old Vamarian Pawnell admitted to leaving the gun under a mattress. The 10-year-old has been charged with first-degree murder, making him the youngest person in Missouri to face that charge.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer visited Washington, D.C. last week trying to obtain a disaster relief grant from HUD. Spencer says she received no guarantees the city would receive a grant or any timeline.
Disaster relief community development block grant funding doesn't have a regular cadence with funding. And so it really does depend on really coalescing with other disasters and making sure that we are in line to get what we deserve and what we need to be able to serve our community.
Spencer did express confidence St. Louis would receive the money and said this would not be her last trip to D.C.
As we prepare for the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, Missouri's top judge is calling for unity. Chief Justice Brent Powell gave an address this past week reflecting on America, calling on citizens to set aside differences like our founding fathers did.
Even today, it can be easy to let ourselves as Missourians be divided by our differences. Yes, we live in different parts of the state and have different cultures and beliefs. But as we celebrate this 4th of July, let us come together with patriotic spirit, united as Americans, focus on promoting the virtues of life, liberty, and happiness as our founders so gallantly declared 250 years ago.
Powell adds, while the country has faced divisions over the last 2.5 centuries, the people's ongoing commitment to the rule of law is what keeps the nation great.
Lower gas prices and a tax break on school supplies, just two of the changes coming to Illinois this Wednesday.
The state is officially enacting its roughly $56 billion budget. The spending plan freezes gas tax increases and sets up a 10-day sales tax holiday this August. Illinois also launching a $2.1 billion Department of Early Childhood, the new agency a major priority for Governor J.B. Pritzker, while some conservatives question the need to establish a new agency before fully knowing how it would function. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
As Pride Month comes to an end, Governor Pritzker is taking new steps to protect LGBTQ plus Illinoisans.
Just before the annual Pride Parade stepped off in Chicago, the governor signed a number of bills aimed at strengthening protections for members of the LGBTQ plus community in Illinois. One piece of legislation removes testosterone from the state's prescription monitoring program, which Governor Pritzker says better protects patient records for things like gender affirming and reproductive health care. Another bill allows Illinois residents to list their gender on driver's licenses and state IDs as either male, female, or X. The governor also signing legislation that requires insurance companies to cover up to 6 months of prescribed hormone therapy for Illinois residents. Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. A 2-run homer in the second inning, and the Cardinal pitching staff made it stand up.
Wynn takes a good lead at first base. The pitch. Torres swings and hits it a mile. That's a home run to right field for Torres. 2-0 Cardinals.
The Cardinals managed 6 hits for the day. They did not have a hit with a runner in scoring position, yet they beat the Marlins 2-1.
A good team win for the Cardinals in front of 37,000 plus. Kyle Leahy got the win. He picked up his 6th victory. Good work out of the bullpen. Riley O'Brien was able to save it for his 20th, but really a lot of important plays for the Cardinals to keep the game close. Only 6 hits for the Cardinals, but it was enough to win.
The Cardinals won the first game of the homestand on Monday, beating Arizona in a 1-run victory, and won the last game of the homestand 2-1 over Miami yesterday. Day off today in Atlanta tomorrow, and on the mound, it's Matthew Liberatore. Airtime 520.
Cut of the game was sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Now let's head down to the field.
Our player of the game this afternoon, Brian Torres, with the big 2-run homer. What was it like for you to get that good swing? You sitting on that 2-0 count.
I mean, it was pretty amazing. Being here with these amazing fans and can contribute to the team win. It's just a great feeling.
It's been a while for you. It took you a while to get here to the big leagues. What's it been like for you? Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
A lot of ups and downs, man. But you gotta stay positive the whole time, the whole way. Keep working hard and keep chasing the dream.
Tell me about the home run pitch. It was a 2-0 sinker?
Yeah. He got in 2-0 really quick. He got a sinker in, and we could hit it well.
You didn't miss it at all. What's it like to get that ice bath, or your first ice bath here?
It's pretty cold, huh? But good call after this hot.
All right, nice work today, and congratulations on being in the big leagues and keep having fun.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Torres is our player of the game.
Plebs, thank you. I bet that ice felt good after a hot day at Busch Stadium. John Mozeliak on Sports on a Sunday Morning yesterday. The now former Cardinals president of baseball operations is the interim GM of the Angels. So what is your order of business here? And so that our listeners are clear, manager is not one of those. It looks like you went right to Kurt Suzuki and the staff and said you're good for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. You really have to think about like my role as more of the 100,000 foot view at the moment in terms of like getting into the weeds and understanding what's happening at the scouting level, player development level. And so from really just an order of operations, if you want to think about it that way, it's the draft's coming in 2 weeks. So obviously a lot of energy is going to be spent there. Flip the script after that, we'll go right into the trading deadline and determine what that strategy is going to look like between now and then. And then after that, we get into early August, and that'll become when we go after or begin our GM search. And then from there, it's then about, sort of reassessing where we are as just an organization from, coaching standpoint. When I say that, like at the minor league level to looking at like making sure we have the right people in the right places.
Mozeliak said it happened fast, and he doesn't have any plans to continue on after this year. Brazil plays Japan today at noon, Germany and Paraguay at 3:30, and tonight's game at 8, the Netherlands against Morocco, round of 32 at the World Cup. Canada knocked out South Africa yesterday, 1-0. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you could all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman. And it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:21. Bright sunshine, heating up quickly. We'll tell you more about the weather and our heat wave coming up in just a moment. But first, here's Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look a lot better down in the DeSoto area, Debbie. They cleared that overturned vehicle crash on 21. Pretty much back to normal now between Y and 110, so that's good to see. On the highways, it's still not bad. Mondays usually aren't, but North 270 north of Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, slow. South 270 just right through Ladue is a little busy at this time. Eastbound Highway 70 seeing a little slowdown approaching Wentzville Parkway. I have another road closure. I talked about at some point today, it may already be closed, but West Watson is going to be closed between Weber Hill and Pagoda Drive over there at Tapawingo. So basically between Weber Hill and the Rott Road, that's going to be shut down. That's at West Watson for the next 3 months. So that's a long-term deal. And just got word that Spady, just south of Olive over in Creve Coeur, is closed. Now that's just going to be through Wednesday, but they were scheduled to shut that down this hour as well. Illinois side, we got a little slow traffic now westbound coming across the Poplar Street Bridge, and roadwork delays, slow traffic both directions on 255, basically between Godfrey and Seminary Road. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Seeing more bees, wasps, or hornets around your home? Carpenter bees can damage wood structures, and wasps and hornets often hide nests inside walls. Don't risk getting stung. Let Rottler Pest Solutions protect your home and family. Call Rottler today or visit rottler.com.
There is a danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you're outside for extended periods of time today. We're in extreme heat warning through Thursday. High 97, real field temperatures up to 107 this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm, and muggy, a low 78. No relief there. Tomorrow, sunny, sweltering heat continues, high of 99, real feels near 110. And then Wednesday, the same. It's going to be extremely hot, a high of 99 Wednesday, real feels near 110 again. It's 79 downtown.
The news continues at 7:23. There's a new local alternative for children who are afraid of getting an endoscopy. To help assess digestive problems, KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer finds out more from Dr. Ryan Pittman, pediatric gastroenterologist with Mercy Kids GI.
We have developed an opportunity for children who need repeated endoscopies to have endoscopies where they do not need anesthesia. We do this by having a very thin scope that we can use to look through their nose, into their mouth, into the upper part of their GI tract, which allows us to look for any problems they may be having in their esophagus or their stomach to better understand how we can help them.
What's the benefit of something like this?
So in typical endoscopies, in order to understand what's happening in the upper GI tract, children have to go to sleep under anesthesia. With anesthesia, that takes a lot of extra time. It can be quite costly. And there is recovery time where children may be groggy or sleepy after the procedure. And so it takes them several hours to return to their normal selves. With unsedated transnasal endoscopy, they don't need any anesthesia. And so as soon as the procedure is over, they can go back to their normal life. Also, since we don't have anesthesia, then the preoperative time isn't needed, so their actual appointment time is much less.
Sounds like this would be a lot less stressful for kids too, and their parents.
Overall, many kids appreciate the opportunity to come in, get their procedure done, and just move on with their day. And so that is much less stressful.
Who can get it?
Any kid who is able to tolerate sitting down, being calm while we look through their nose and into their esophagus. Typically, we set the age limit of about 8 years and older.
How common is it for a child to get an endoscopy?
Yeah, so in our practice, we see lots of children who have difficulties with heartburn or difficulties with swallowing or eating enough to grow well. And in any of those scenarios, they may have differences in their upper GI tract. And endoscopy is really the best way to know what's happening in their upper GI tract.
What's the main message here you want parents and listeners to get?
Yeah, so if patients are having any sort of condition or any sort of symptoms that makes it difficult for them to eat well, grow well, eat the types of foods that they want, and it seems that looking at the GI tract would be useful, we have a new opportunity for them to do that without the stress of anesthesia, where we can numb their nose really well, numb their throat really well. We can look at their GI tract, get all the information that we need to do, and then they can move on with their day.
That is Dr. Ryan Pittman. He's a pediatric gastroenterologist with Mercy Kids GI.
Livestock owners are being urged by the Missouri Department of Agriculture to be on the lookout for the New World screwworm. Missouri currently doesn't have any cases, but outbreaks in other states have prompted new border crossing rules for livestock. The farmers are encouraged to maintain fly controls and carefully check their animals for rapidly growing wounds. Officials stress the screwworm poses no threat to the human food supply.
Missouri's Botanical Garden bringing back a favorite festival next month. The 25th anniversary of the Green Living Festival returns July 11th, offering practical solutions for adding sustainability to everyday life. The event is all day July 11th. You do need to pay Botanical Garden admission, although St. Louis City and County residents get in free until noon.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Walker just gave the Cardinals the lead. Home run! Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got
St. Louis, it's time to hit the ballpark. ATL meets STL when the Cardinals take on the Atlanta Braves at Busch Stadium, July 10th through the 12th. Plus, score great weekend giveaways, including a garage shirt and a kid's jersey. Don't miss 3 days of summer baseball, family fun, and Cardinals action. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Relive the magic of 2006 on Saturday, July 11th, when the Cards play the Braves at Busch Stadium. That night, fans will take home a David Eckstein bobblehead presented by Mid-America Transplant. This giveaway celebrates his unforgettable World Series MVP performance and scrappy plays that defined a championship run. Don't miss your chance to add this classic to your collection. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions. If you are looking for a place for independent living for older adults, the place is Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. It was voted U.S. News and World Report's best independent living for 5 consecutive years. They have social events for the residents there, wellness programs. Just go to fairwindsriversedge.com. Schedule a tour and hear about all of the great new updated spaces, all the dining, the social events, the best. fairwindsriversedge.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
It is now 7:30 and tons of sunshine, heating up right now to 79 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the roads look. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're getting closer to the peak rush hour time, Tom, so there's more volume, but it's still not all that bad. I mean, northbound 270 right now, you're looking at slowdowns from about Big Bend up through toward Manchester. South 270 Olive down into the work zone at Ladue is the slowest part there. Southbound 61 still looks good, getting on to eastbound 6470 coming out of St. Charles County across the Missouri River Bridges. Eastbound 64 just kind of slow 170 to Big Bend in the Richmond Heights area. Westbound Highway 70 west of Air Flight, I see a little bit of a delay there. North 55 looks good at 141. On the Illinois side, seeing a couple of slowdowns on eastbound 5570 between 203 and 111 in that work zone, and on westbound 5570, a brief delay as you get past 159, and of course 255 between Seminary Road and the terminus there at Godfrey. Slow traffic in both directions there as well. Next update at 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be hot, and it is going to be extremely hot all the way through at least the 4th of July. We do have an extreme heat warning in effect through Thursday. So today, mostly sunny and hot. It's going to be 97 degrees. It's going to feel as hot as 107 this afternoon. Overnight, muggy, but 78. And then again, tomorrow, 99 degrees. It'll feel like 110. It's 79 out there right now.
It's 7:32. More violence over the weekend in St. Louis. 3 people killed, 5 injured during several shootings from Saturday and Sunday. 3 women were shot and a 26-year-old woman was killed yesterday after a shooting in the 1300 block of Washington Avenue.
About 4 a.m. Sunday, police say a 20-year-old man was shot in the neck and later died after a fight broke out between several unknown people and at a Quick Trip in the 6900 block of Gravois. Saturday, another shooting left one man dead, another injured.
Sunday's City 2 game was paused due to nearby gunshots. City police say the shooting happened around 6:30 p.m. in the area of North 17th and Chestnut Streets, which is roughly 3 blocks east of Energizer Park. A 19 and 20-year-old were taken into custody and one firearm was recovered.
With the Board of Aldermen passing a budget below what the state-appointed police commissioners approved, does this impact raises for command staff? No, according to Police Chief Robert Tracy, who says even if the city's lesser budget wins in court, they'll find a way to make those raises fit.
Budgets are always speculations. These are things that where you need to be, you end up moving money around towards the end of the year.
The raises ultimately amount to a little over $1 million.
Gas prices almost 11 cents cheaper today than they were last week. Average price per gallon in the St. Louis region, $3.70 today, according to Gas Buddy. That's almost 59 cents cheaper than a month ago, but 72 cents higher than a year ago.
It is now 7:33, and the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next.
When Cardinals fans want to talk baseball, they turn to the Gas House Gang. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklas bring insights, analysis, and opinions that fuel the conversation. And every Tuesday, Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol pulls back the curtain on his decisions and his team's performance. The Gas House Gang is the sports show sports fans can't miss. Hear it weekdays at noon on your home for the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
$7:35, your Money Minute is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. SpaceX may be heading to the consumer wireless market. SpaceX and Charter Communications are said to have held high-level talks about partnering on a consumer mobile phone offering. Sources tell Bloomberg that Charter could run some of SpaceX's phone traffic through its ground-based internet infrastructure, much as it does with its Spectrum Mobile offering. If a deal is finalized, it would help push SpaceX toward achieving its goal of becoming more of a direct-to-consumer mobile phone provider. Stocks are looking at gains to kick off the trading week. Investors continue to watch the latest developments in the Middle East conflict. And luxury retailer Saks Global has emerged from bankruptcy with a new identity. The parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and Bergdorf Goodman will now be named Exemplar Luxury Group. Saks says it's cut its debt by almost 75% under its restructuring and will now focus on delivering long-term profitable growth. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering from Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
Get inside your Redbirds and the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Gas House Gang coming up today at noon. Greg Amsinger of MLB Network joins us, as well as Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne. More rescues in Venezuela from the rubble left by those deadly back-to-back earthquakes that hit last week. The death toll as of this morning is up to at least 1,450 people. Thousands more are hurt as hundreds of aftershocks continue to jolt the region. An estimated 58,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed.
It is 7:40, and you need traffic and weather today, especially the weather, because if you haven't heard, it is going to be really, really dangerously hot all week long. More on that after we check the roadways. Probably traffic's heating up, either with people heading to work or maybe people heading out of town, taking the whole week off. Who knows what people have planned? Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're at the peak rush hour time, and it's not bad this morning, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union. We are slow, north 270, but just from 44 up to Manchester, then it sorts itself out. South 270, approaching Olive down to Ladue, almost to 64. That's busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight to Big Bend is heavy. South 170 slows down at Brentwood. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker headed out through Big Bend is the only delay there. We have a couple of road closures. West Watson between Weber Hill and Pagade Drive over there at Tapawingo. So basically between Lott Road and Weber Hill, West Watson is closed for the next 3 months. And just for the next 3 days, today through Wednesday, Spady just south of Olive and Creve Coeur is shut down as well. On the Illinois side, you have a backup westbound 5570 just passing 159, then it's slow. West of 111 into 203, and eastbound 5570 approaching 111 midway into 255 is heavy, and then 255 north of Seminary Road up into Godfrey, you've got roadwork slowdowns. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and military. This one's for you. Scott Credit Union's Community Heroes program offers special financing on homes, autos, and more. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare. We are bracing for extreme heat all week long.
We really are. This is just going to be an excessively hot week and a dangerously hot week as well. Temperatures for today topping out at 97. It'll be mostly sunny, hot, and humid. Our AccuWeather real field temperatures will be as high as 107. And tonight stays uncomfortably warm and muggy with a low of 78. Tomorrow's sunshine much of the time. That sweltering heat continues. We'll top out at 99 with real feels of 110. And real feels are still 105 to 110 with a high around 99 with sun and some clouds on Wednesday. Could be just a few more clouds around to knock that heat temperature back just a tiny bit. Heading into Thursday, though, we're still hot. 96 for a high with hazy sunshine. There can also be an afternoon thunderstorm in spots and a thunderstorm chance just about any time Friday. Partly sunny with a high of 95. Still mid-90s and some sun for Independence Day. For the moment, looks dry. 78 at St. Peter's, 79 in Florissant right now, and 78 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43. Thank you, Heather. A new Illinois law is taking aim at chronic speeders.
Beginning January 1st, 2028, drivers convicted of 2 qualifying speeding or reckless driving offenses within a year could be required to install a speed limiting device in their vehicle instead of losing their license. The technology prevents drivers from exceeding the posted speed limit. It works much like the ignition interlock devices used for DUI offenders. Supporters say the goal is to reduce speeding-related crashes while still allowing people to drive legally under restrictions. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Lawmakers in Springfield have passed a new law aimed at digital coupons that aren't accessible to all.
The original problem stems from folks who may not be tech savvy or don't have digital devices. The new law requires grocery stores to honor digital promotions at the register, even without a mobile device. And the law does have teeth. Grocery stores violating the requirement could face lawsuits or fines under the Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Practices Act. John Welty, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It is now 7:44, and about 3 million fewer Americans are on affordable health care insurance plans this year compared to last.
Democrats shut the government down trying to get Republicans to approve a continuation of federal subsidies for Obamacare recipients, but it didn't work. Now, the Health and Human Services Department is showing a 13% reduction in those on ACA plans in 2026 versus 2025. The decrease believed because millions of people, many of them gig workers who aren't offered insurance through an employer, are either unwilling or unable to pay the much higher premiums. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Big day in tennis as Wimbledon starts, and 7-time champion Serena Williams returns to singles play after 4 years away. She is 44 years old. How about that? The Cardinals yesterday at Busch Stadium.
The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to first. Backhanded by Burleson. He kicks the bag for a red bird winner. Shoot off the fireworks in downtown St. Louis. The pitching was superb today, beginning with Kyle Leahy. Romero scoreless for an inning and a third. Stanek got the last 2 outs of the 7th. Soriano struck out 2 in a 1-2-3 eighth and a 1-2-3 ninth for Riley O'Brien, who picks up his 20th save of the year. The Cardinals beat the Marlins today 2-1.
I mean, it's hot out there. Leahy did his job. One of his better days as far as just getting ahead of guys. 16 out of 20. He was landing the secondary stuff. Curveball was a good player for him. But did a really nice job with back-to-back doubles there. That could be one of those innings where you go, all right, third time through, are they going to get him here and take the lead? And he's able to get that pop up to second and then punch out Lopez. That's a big part of that game. And then we're able to unload the pen, get the matchups that we want, flip the guys at the bottom for Riley to face later, and it worked out really well.
Cards manager Ollie Marmol. The Cardinals are the 3rd wild card team currently in the National League. They have the day off today. They visit the Braves tomorrow night. The Angels are struggling and need some help. They fired their GM and looked for somebody who could bridge the gap, maybe consult them, someone with a lot of contacts and some phone numbers. Start to look around for additions in terms of GM. Oh, here's one. He's free. John Mozeliak, the former Cardinals executive, now running the Angels on an interim basis.
I assume that's what they're leveraging. Obviously, I have a lot of experience, but My contacts in the game are extensive, and yeah, you hope you find that right person to take the next step. I do think this is again like a very unique way of doing something. The traditional way is just you fire your leadership, and then you bring in someone new, and then they're left with scrambling to try to figure out what's next. And in all honesty, they tend to bring in their own people, and they tend to do it quickly, whereas this, I think, gives you a much cleaner, deeper dive and really understanding where those weaknesses is. And so from just a pure timing standpoint or time standpoint, I think like what we did with Heim was very smart. And I think what they're going to do out here is going to be very smart.
Yeah, you opened by saying that is something that you just went through. So when you take a look back, how closely did you follow what the Cardinals did and what they have been doing with Heim running it?
Well, I obviously kept one eye on the Cardinals because, that was my home, or is my home, team I'm very close to. But what I really mean is like prior to, and in other words, how much he was able to accomplish before he was ever named GM. And that's really what I hope we can do here. And so as you think about our GPS, get us directionally where we need to go. And then when we do name that general manager, he doesn't have to waste time doing that.
John Mozeliak on Sports on a Sunday Morning. The full conversation is there on our Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page, wherever you get your podcasts. As for our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Here's that soccer schedule today. Brazil and Japan at noon, Germany and Paraguay at 3:30. And then tonight at 8, the Netherlands and Morocco. I think you probably know where I'm going if you've been listening to me long enough. I told you the Knicks were going to win the NBA title. And I'm telling you right now, the value play in the World Cup is the Netherlands. I've been saying this for a while now. And looking at them, they're plus 1450 on the Circa Sports app. Folks, just saying. Remember I said it. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's a double vision tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, it's 7:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're coming up on northbound 270, headed into work this morning, we've got some slow traffic now. It's a little busier. Gravois, midway up to 44, through 44, and then Big Bend up to Manchester. A little busy at Clayton Road. So there's sort of pockets along the way. Definitely more crowded through there. Southbound 270, south of 364 down to Ladue. Slow that whole way through that stretch. If you're on eastbound 64 west of McKnight, it's almost midway between Lindbergh and McKnight into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, slow. South 170, still about the same. Delays at the Brentwood Boulevard. Illinois roadwork causing delays eastbound on 5570 from 111 midway to 255. Westbound 5570, roadwork back up at 159. It goes about midway into Keebler. And, of course, 255 north of Seminary Road up into Godfrey. There's some slow traffic in both directions running that route currently. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Extreme heat warning in effect. Sunny and hot today. A high of 97. It's going to feel like 107 tonight. Muggy, low 78. Tomorrow, 99. Feels like 110. It's 81 right now.
It is 7:52. And the news continues. In the West, many locations have seen a notable improvement in fire weather conditions. However, widespread dry conditions and locally gusty winds may keep the fire danger ongoing in parts of the region. We get more from ABC News meteorologist Leslie Lopez.
Many states, millions of people under this dangerous heat wave. This is going to be a long, protracted event. We're looking at 103 degrees out towards Chicago as a heat index. Also out towards Nashville, 102, getting into Detroit, 97. That's all moving out towards the east to areas like New York, 103 by Wednesday, 106 by Thursday.
Overseas, Berlin's peak temperatures are hitting triple digits. A cooling trend is now expected. ABC's Melissa Adon.
While the U.S. continues to heat up, Western Europe is cooling down after a week of record-breaking heat. Officials in France now saying the country experienced a surge of additional deaths since Wednesday, at least 1,000 during one of the worst of the heat waves on record.
Britain's Princess Kate has climbed the 3 highest mountains in the UK in 24 hours. Kensington Palace releasing video of the Princess of Wales explaining why she did it.
Lots of people have asked me why I'm doing this challenge, and partly it's personal. I'm so grateful to be here, to be strong enough to walk these hills. But more importantly, it's to give something back.
Kate says she did it for a cancer charity, climbing solo, presumably with a protection officer, supported en route by Mountain Rescue. The Prince of Wales, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, among those greeting her at the end.
A 53-year-old woman identified as the driver whose electric bike hit a crowd in New York City. Here's ABC's Lucy Yang at the scene in Brooklyn.
A 3-wheel motorized bike went into a crowded park, leaving 4 in critical condition, 5 others unstable. The driver is also unstable, and we're told one of the victims is a 73-year-old man.
Another person has been attacked by an alligator in Florida. ABC's Jim Ryan says it's the 3rd incident in a week. This one fatal.
A 31-year-old woman who was swimming in the Aconlacatchee River in Seminole County was dragged under by an alligator Sunday. She was taken to a hospital where she died of her injuries. A day earlier, a child was bitten at a fish camp in Marion County. And a week ago, a snorkeler was injured in an alligator attack in the Rainbow River near Florida's Gulf Coast.
Well, if you're starting to hit the roads for the July 4th holiday, ABC's Andrew Dimbert has news from Newark.
The TSA expecting to screen some 18.7 million passengers at airport security checkpoints starting Tuesday through July 6th, with the busiest day expected to be Thursday, July 2nd, when more than 3 million people are projected to fly. And it's not just airports that'll be packed. AAA is forecasting a record 72.2 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home over the holiday period, topping last year's record.
It's 7:56.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man? You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing. Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass. Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all that mowing I have to do around the property. Do it for St. Louis, do it. Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Risa, a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
You can usually find me in the kitchen, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm still in the mix with Skyrizi to treat my joint symptoms.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe at 4 months.
Or if you're an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope, Missouri offers free, confidential support wherever you are. Call or text 1-800-985-5990 and connect with a local crisis counselor today. From Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still kind of slow, Debbie, on North 270, a couple of spots between Gravois and 44, and then Big Bend up to Manchester. After that, it's not as bad. A little busy around Clayton Road. South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue. That's slow. Eastbound 64, a little busy right around Timberlake. It's slow McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 delays at Brentwood. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Hanley. That's pretty busy. Roadwork delays eastbound 5570, passing 111. The westbound stuff we had through 159 is looking a lot better, just a little slow there. And, of course, 255 between Godfrey and Seminary Road. You've got some delays each direction. Don't forget, Spady south of Olive is closed, and West Watson between Weber Hill and the Rot Road is shut down. That Weber Hill stretch on West Watson closed for 3 months. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Already 81 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news. States are considering changes to building codes to create lower cost housing options. Some safety advocates are concerned. Learn more after ABC and KMOX News.
We are stuck under a heat dome. We'll get the latest on the extreme temperatures from AccuWeather's forecasting manager.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. Hot and humid with sunshine today, high 97. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 107.
Cardinals are off today, but the talk continues. The Gas House Gang at noon today. Greg Amsinger, Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji join us at noon. Megan Lynch is next.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Wildfires in the West have killed 3 firefighters along the Utah-Colorado border. ABC's Melissa Adon.
This is the Snyder fire, and it started burning between Colorado and Utah, and it merged along the border. That was during the weekend when there was a particularly dangerous situation, red flag warning that was issued for that region. Well, there were several firefighters that were told that were trapped by the fire. They had no chance to escape. It was really difficult for them. And unfortunately, 3 of them were killed.
Flooding in Kentucky and Tennessee is now blamed for at least 5 deaths. Search teams still looking for survivors in Venezuela after last week's deadly earthquakes. They have been working through hundreds of aftershocks. Former Tennessee Titans star running back Chris Johnson tells ABC News he has been diagnosed with ALS. He was diagnosed last year. The disease spreading so rapidly, he now has lost the ability to speak. This is ABC News. According to new numbers from the Health and Human Services Department, about 3 million fewer people are on the Affordable Care Act plans this year than last year. Part of the reason could be the end of federal subsidies to help those who can't get insurance through their jobs pay their premiums. President Trump got rid of those subsidies as a part of his bill. Democrats tried to get them back but failed. A Texas boy attacked by a shark in the Bahamas credits his older brother for keeping him alive. Here's ABC's Wayne Cabot with the story.
I definitely consider him as my hero as he stopped bleeding and saved my life.
12-year-old Parker Roll says his brother Jack wrapped his leg for the 60-mile boat ride to the nearest hospital after the shark attack. The family was on an excursion to swim with the sharks and thought that they were among normally docile nurse sharks, but then an 8 to 10 foot long reef shark latched on to Parker's leg.
I didn't really feel it at first because there's just so much adrenaline.
Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
The boy's expected to be fine. This is ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 79 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June 29th. I'm Megan Lynch. If you drive downtown and use Interstate 44, your drive was easier today. The highway reopened over the massive sinkhole at Broadway and Biddle. MoDOT's area engineer Jen Wade tells KMOX there are no structural concerns. The highway is safe, as is the support column where the sinkhole opened up 2 weeks ago. There are still some closures.
Because of bypass lines being installed over Broadway, both directions of Broadway right there by Biddle have to remain closed until that work's completed. Because those are closed, that also means the exit from 44, what people really think of as coming from I-70, that exit to Broadway will remain closed for a few weeks. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about their timeline yet.
Both Metropolitan Sewer District and City Water Division still have to make repairs around the sinkhole. Sunday's City SC game paused due to nearby gunshots. City police say the shooting happened around 6:30 in the area of North 17th and Chestnut Streets, which is roughly 3 blocks east of Energizer Park. A 19 and 20-year-old were taken into custody. One firearm was recovered. The match between City SC2 and Austin FC2 briefly suspended. Fans were told to shelter in place. A statement from City SC reads in part, quote, "In close coordination with the league and local authorities, the game was suspended and later resumed once given the all clear," close quote. More violence over the weekend in St. Louis. 3 people killed, 5 injured during several shootings from Saturday and Sunday. 3 women were shot. A 26-year-old woman killed yesterday after a shooting in the 1300 block of Washington Avenue. Around 4 a.m. on Sunday, police say a 20-year-old man was shot in the neck and later died after a large fight broke out between several unknown people. And at a quick trip in the 6900 block of Gravois Saturday, another shooting left 1 man dead, another injured. The father of a 7-month-old girl is charged with second-degree murder after a 10-year-old shot and killed the infant. It happened Friday afternoon at a house in the Baden neighborhood. Police say 19-year-old Vamarian Pawnell admitted leaving the gun under a mattress. The 10-year-old has been charged with first-degree murder, making him the youngest person in Missouri history to face the charge. The St. Louis City alderman passed a budget that includes fewer funds for the police department than the state-appointed board approved. Do the new raises for command staff remain?
Chief of Police Robert Tracy says yes, the raises for command staff, some as high as 22%, will be in place no matter which budget is in effect. He says if the city's budget does ultimately win out in the courts, they will have to move some money around.
There's other things that we need to do. We have to look to see where we can find some money, where we can prioritize things.
The raises for command staff amounts to only $1 million. Both Tracy and city leaders acknowledge the budget dispute will only be solved through litigation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County is reminding eligible seniors the deadline to apply or renew your property tax freeze applications is tomorrow.
The county says the online portal offers the fastest and most efficient way to complete the senior tax freeze application or renewal. Now, seniors using this system for a second year will only need to verify that they still live at the same address. They will not have to resubmit original documents. Residents are encouraged to use this online service because the 3 county offices close at 3:30 Monday through Thursday, and they are closed on Fridays. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Gas prices almost 11 cents cheaper today than they were last week. The average price per gallon in the St. Louis region is $3.70 today, according to Gas Buddy. That's almost 59 cents cheaper than a month ago, but 72 cents higher than a year ago. AAA says there will be more people traveling this 4th of July holiday than ever before. KMOX travel editor Peter Greenberg says planes will be full.
But not because more people are traveling by air, but because there are fewer flights and airfares are still going up. That's going to be a problem, but they will be full.
Greenberg tells Total Information AM, even if oil prices come down, airfares are going to stay up.
They're basically in a survival mode now because their fuel bill has gone up on certain airlines by $1 billion per airline, and they're trying to figure out how to recoup those losses.
Rain on Saturday and sweltering heat on Sunday didn't keep people away from Pride Fest in downtown St. Louis. Icona Pop and En Vogue were the headliners Sunday afternoon. The weekend included the Grand Parade, a wreath laying at Soldiers Memorial, and a number of vendors.
It's so much fun, and the community is really good this year. A lot of people.
The St. Louis Zoo claims the title of Best Free Attraction in the country for the second time after being nominated by the USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards. The zoo offering free popular guest experiences on Wednesday. Visitors can ride the Conservation Carousel and the Zoo Line Railroad, walk through the dinosaur exhibit on Historic Hill, or experience a number of other attractions for free later this week. It's 8:07. Coming up on Total Information AM, more states are considering building code changes to make it cheaper to build housing because of the demand for affordable housing. We're going to talk about some of the concerns about that with Robbie Sequara. He's a staff writer covering housing and social services for State Line. And then a little bit later, we're going to tell you about one of the big exhibits coming to celebrate 250 this 4th of July weekend. Let's get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes now. Stay with us.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
Save time and money.
Do it now, don't wait till later. Call the top-notch renovator. It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Ins 8-1 exclusions apply.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're looking better out there, Megan. Already starting to wind down in some places like North 270, just slow now. Doherty Ferry to Manchester and approaching Clayton Road. South 270 is just a little slow right through the Ladue area. Southbound 170 Brentwood to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64, 170 into Big Bend, slow. Westbound 64, like Bellevue to Big Bend, is the only real delay running through there right now. On the Illinois side, you still got a roadwork delay on eastbound 5570 at a couple of spots, east of 203, and then approaching 111 about midway into 255 and seeing that little backup westbound 5570, 159, most of the way to about the Keebler overpass. And, of course, 255 north of Seminary Road up into Godfrey. There's some heavy traffic both directions. Don't forget, we have Spadey just south of Olive shut down. That'll just be through Wednesday. And then we also have a longer-term closure that begins today. West Watson closed between Weber Hill and basically Tapawingo just to the west of Rott Road. So basically there's no through traffic between Rott Road and Weber Hill on West Watson now for the next 3 months. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, hot today with sunshine and a high of 97. AccuWeather real field temperatures up to 107. Warm and muggy with patchy clouds and a low of 78 tonight. Then the sweltering heat continues for tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll have sun much of the time. Highs of 99 with AccuWeather real field temperatures of 105 to 110. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And we're already touching 80 degrees. It's 81 in Florissant, 81 in St. Peter's, and sunny skies 79 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Many regions of the country, including ours, are concerned about a lack of affordable housing. Our next guest has found that some states and cities are changing building code requirements to help lower construction costs and increase inventory of available housing. Robbie Sequara is a staff writer covering housing and social services for State Line. Your report caught my attention, especially the fact that states are considering things like single stairway apartment buildings. What are some of the changes you've been tracking when it comes to code updates?
Building code updates are very fascinating. I think they're very fascinating. So, we know that there's a housing crunch, availability, affordability, and lawmakers are trying to figure out ways to, push different levers of affordability. Zoning has been one of those changes, but now it's going to building codes and, the things that make up a home. There's a way to maybe take away one stairwell and maybe put a little bit of the cost down on that project. It can maybe get it built more affordably. Also, kind of infill building in terms of trying to just kind of build on smaller lots. So maybe if we don't need to extend the width of a building just by putting in extra things that this might need. That's kind of the pro argument for changing these building codes. And a lot of people, urban planners, have told me that building codes are really, really complicated. They're not like zoning. There are these kind of intricate things that maybe you would need a code expert to maybe explain to you, or fire codes. And the kind of pushback against that has been that, just changing these codes, it may be something that could endanger someone's life. I know a lot of firefighters that I've talked to have said that, when they're answering a call, whether there's a smoke or fire in a home, that they really take up that stairwell. So it could complicate exit strategies for tenants if they're caught in buildings. So as you see, it's one of those things that it is a lever of affordability, but then you do have people who have maybe experienced this firsthand or lived experiences with fires or maybe poorly designed buildings, in which they're kind of saying, hey, maybe let's not change everything in the code and, maybe look at different things.
I think the single stairway issue is so interesting because that was my first thing in my mind. How can we only have one stairway in an apartment building? Now, I know I did read in your reporting that these aren't for like the huge high-rise apartment buildings. These are ones that might, I think you wrote, only 4 or 5 stories possibly. But still, you mentioned that firefighter piece. And I think the other thing that was very interesting that you reported on was how people in apartments sometimes don't respond the first time there is a fire alarm.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I have had some experience reporting when I was a local reporter in the Bronx. There was a big fire in 2022, and it involved a self-closing door that was faulty. And I remember talking to the residents, to people who had, survived, and said that they didn't hear fire alarms. And that kind of corroborated that people aren't necessarily hearing their alarm. They might have their headphones in. There might just be other noise. And so there's certain kind of cues that, people may not understand that when they are in fire. They may not know that the fire's on their floor. So there's kind of these modern safeguards that people say that kind of have to be in these single stair buildings: sprinklers, smoke detection, fireproof materials, self-closing doors. It's so interesting. Pew has done a lot of research in this. They've done a lot of advocating for these bills, and they, did a study in New York City and Seattle who have had these buildings for quite a bit. And they found that there's not a high incident rate amongst these buildings, but it only takes one major fire. And I think that is kind of the caution tale. It does only take, one really, really bad disaster. Another thing to kind of also think about is one of the, I think the things that has been expressed about building codes is that codes were built, or these codes were installed, or they were updated because there was a tragedy that happened prior. It's kind of push and pull of how do we modernize things? How do we modernize these codes? Maybe they were passed in the 80s, maybe they're passed in the 90s, before buildings, have retrofitted to be able to address more fire concerns. While also understanding that like these codes are kind of, there's the International Building Code. There's a lot of these groups that do update these things regularly. One of the big shifts, or the two big shifts that have happened with at least single staircase, is that the International Building Code, they updated their recent cycle to include stairway cases for 5 or 6 stories. So that was a big thing, and that's really been, I think, a big push for people to go, hey, if they're doing it, then we can do it. And then also we're kind of seeing at the federal level, there's been guidance in some of the HUD rules, or in some of Road to Housing Act, which is unsigned, that says, hey, we should maybe develop some guidance for these type of builds. So I think when you have the code folks who are updating their stuff, and you have the federal folks going, hey, maybe we should look at this, it does give states and localities kind of this, I think, this push to go, hey, we should maybe pursue and see how we can do this, particularly if we have a housing issue.
I saw you mention that Illinois has considered it. I know Missouri has considered a similar stairway code change. Are there other code changes that are being looked at that would help increase this inventory of available housing?
The one thing about housing is that there's no silver bullet for housing policy. They all kind of have to work in conjunction. And I think from what I've understood and when I've talked to people, it's if you have zoned, if you've kind of relaxed your zoning to maybe, this middle housing, duplexes, triplexes, townhouses, and then say, hey, maybe we also then can add on these staircases, these one single staircase builds. And so now we have a little bit more mid-level rises. And hey, maybe we could also look at electrical has been also a big thing. And Iowa has, done away with some of the requirements for AFCIs and GCIs. All that I think has to work in concert, at least from what I've gathered with lawmakers. They're like, hey, we know that we can't just say, hey, you guys can, localities can build single staircase. They also have to be able to have the zoning to go with that too. And I think also there's another aspect of this that there just also isn't a market that might be building these places too. So you also have to find developers who can build these things pretty quickly. That's the thing about housing. I'm covering this for about at least at State Line for about 4 years. So much of housing policy kind of has to work together.
I want to get back to one thing that you mentioned, and that was the issue of firefighters. You mentioned that they said a lot of times they'll take up that whole stairwell. Overall, when you're looking at these kind of code changes, what are firefighters telling you?
There is a lot of them are saying that, number one, I think that they would like to be in these discussions and at these tables. I know talking to some of the planners, they recommend, hey, you should talk to the firefighters. Talking to some of the representatives, they said, hey, we really want to make sure that we got the fire safety folks included in this. And some states have done this very layered. California is a good example, where they did a study. And then they said, hey, fire safety, what are you guys looking at? They're concerned about egress. They're concerned about people moving up and down a building, particularly if there's a fire, particularly if there's an incident. How are we going to save people if there really is one way to go? I think another way that people have to look at this also is from an aspect of protections. People say that that fire codes are a level of tenant protection. We may think of things like rent control or things like that as rent control, but also these fire codes are a way of keeping people safe.
That is Robbie Sequara with State Line. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, making this traffic reports a service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America 4th of July concert series. Northbound 270 continues to improve. In fact, it's just a little slow approaching the Clayton Road overpass and right as you get into the work zone at Ladue. South 270 Olive Duluth has a busier stretch. Eastbound Manchester seeing delays about midway in from Reese Road to Sulphur Spring. They do road work in the area there this time of day, so that's getting going, obviously. Eastbound 44 is seeing some slow traffic going through Elm. Eastbound 64 just a little heavy right at 170 and South 170. maybe the U Club Tower. It's really not that bad coming down to 64. Roadwork delays on the Illinois side, eastbound 5570 east of 203 through 111, westbound 5570 from 159 up to about the Keebler overpass, and 255 north of Seminary Road into Godfrey both ways is heavy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are under an extreme heat warning through Thursday, mostly sunny and hot today. There is a big danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you're outside for any extended periods of time. Expect a high of 97 today, but the real field temperatures are going to push that up to 107 by this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, warm, muggy, an overnight low of 78. And then tomorrow, more heat, sunny skies, a high 99. It's going to feel like it's 110. Right now, we have sunshine, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Freedom 250. Join the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America July 1st through July 7th across St. Louis as we celebrate America's 250-year legacy with free concerts. No tickets required. Details at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. As the nation celebrates 250 years, St. Louis will also look to the future. The city's 4th of July party, Celebrate 250, will invite visitors to Innovation Village. Cindy Brinkley is co-chair of the exhibit.
When we first started thinking about Celebrate 250 and what that means, you know, we're really celebrating our country's past, what we've created. And what we wanted to do with Innovation Village is not only, you know, we all know about the amazing past that St. Louis has had and what it's meant to the world, actually. But I think what's not clearly understood is what's happening currently in St. Louis and its impact on the future.
Brinkley says St. Louis has innovative ecosystems.
We're looking at what we call 5 frontiers, and these are frontiers where St. Louis is having a real impact. One is around seeing the world, as we call it. We make a mark, if you will, in space and aviation and geospatial. And it's amazing what we're doing there, and honestly, not well known. And so we feature that. We also talk about our next frontier, which is feeding the world, and that's around plant science and agriculture. And really, St. Louis is transforming how food is grown, it's distributed, it's sustained through our plant science and precision agriculture. Next, we talk about healing the world and medicine and health and all of the incredible breakthroughs that are going on in medicine and research and care, and really discovering real world outcomes. And next, around the planet, conservation. A little known about what happens here with the Missouri Botanical Garden, with the St. Louis Zoo, with Wild Care Park, and the impact that all of these institutions have around the world and on the world. And our final frontier is around powering the world, our manufacturing, our logistics, our production, and what we do in terms of doing at scale, delivering products, services, systems.
The free walkthrough exhibit will help visitors see the links between organizations and their outreach to the world.
Parents as Teachers is one, the Oasis Institute, the Opportunity Trust, what the National Urban League does, its impact in the country. And so we really talk about our innovating for good as well. When the Zoo Museum District was created in the early 1970s, that in and of itself was such an innovation, and it's led to our world-class institutions that we have with the St. Louis Zoo, with the Botanical Garden, with the Missouri History Museum. And so we talk about that as well because, with not only with there's innovation on the people side, and there's obviously innovation with the technology.
There are too many organizations to mention. Visitors will have to see it for themselves.
We hope that by sharing this with St. Louisans, they too can see, oh my gosh, we really are well positioned for the future. We have an impact not only regionally but globally. And it's a very exciting time for the region, for St. Louis.
That's Innovation Village co-chair Cindy Brinkley. Washington University in St. Louis is the presenting sponsor for Innovation Village. The exhibit will be at Live by Lowe's, adjacent to the ballpark in the Cardinal Ballroom. It is free and open to visitors of all ages, July 3rd, noon to 6, and July 4th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman. Circa Sports is the best sports app. Absolutely love it. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting. It's sports betting the way it should be. This is a big week for soccer. Big week for soccer. The knockout rounds, it is absolutely fun. And Circa Sports is all over it. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service. That's probably what I love about it the most, is that Circa Sports is very customer-friendly. It's very easy to use. Whether you're looking for futures, you're looking for props on players, Circa Sports has you covered. Soccer is so much more fun by using the Circa Sports app. I think you're going to really enjoy it. All you have to do is download the Circa Sports app. Circa, C-I-R-C-A, Sports is the app, or visit circasports.com today. Circa Sports, must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This year, America celebrates 250 years, 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
8:30, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like there's a little trouble on 44 right now, Megan. Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family wish America a very happy 250th. It looks like it's, for my vantage point, looking a little ways away. It looks like it's a stall in the right lane, eastbound 44 east of Elm before you get to the Edgar Road overpass. That's why we have delays at Elm. The right lane's jammed. The other lane's just slow through there. Eastbound 64 still a little slow. McKnight to the Inner Belt. South 270 Olive to Ladue. That's a little busy. Eastbound Manchester backed up midway in from Reese to Sulphur Springs due to road work. Road work delays on eastbound 5570 approaching 111 midway to 255. Westbound 5570 a jam at 159 about midway into Keebler and 255 Seminary Road up to Godfrey. You've got roadwork slowdowns running both directions there. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance extend their heartfelt wishes for a safe and joyous 4th of July celebration. For generations, Crawford Butts has been proud to serve the community. Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family wish America a very happy 250th. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
8:31, we're going to head right away to the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. That's because we are in the grips of a heat wave. Last week, forecasters were predicting we could have a whole week of sweltering temperatures. Let's get the latest now from Carrie Schwindenhammer, forecasting manager at AccuWeather. Carrie, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So I guess the big question is, how bad could it get as far as temperatures?
Well, looking back over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we may not reach the level of some of those in terms of the highest temperatures recorded. Over the next several days, we're forecasting high temperatures in the upper 90s, not quite getting to 100 through and including the day on Thursday. That said, this is going to be still an impressive stretch here because of the fact that we're going to be dealing with this oppressive heat and humidity for several days on end. Yesterday, we got up to 94 degrees. That could be the coolest day until at least Sunday of this upcoming weekend. So that gives you an idea of what we're looking at. Certainly today could be quite hot and humid. And again, that heat and humidity will only be building here over the next several days. 97 this afternoon, that danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time. When you factor in the humidity and the amount of sunshine we're going to see, that's where it really starts to kick into gear and reality kind of sets in. 97 for high today, but the AccuWeather real feel temperatures around 107. The next couple of days after today, probably getting up to about 99 degrees. Real feel temperatures could be approaching 110. And we're staying hot and humid even as we head through it, including the July 4th holiday weekend. Not really any good chances for rainfall here. Maybe by Thursday, there could be a spotty thunderstorm that starts to develop as this ridge starts to expand eastward. But the heat doesn't wane until probably sometime on Sunday when a cold front, and I put quotes around the word cold, moves on through the area, and that could bring in some relief back into the upper 80s and lower 90s for highs. But at least for the next several days, the heat and humidity really going to be felt.
Carrie, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's 8:34.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
8:35, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Comcast plans to separate its media businesses from its cable TV and internet operations, spinning off NBC Universal and its Sky business in Europe into a new publicly traded company. The split will help the two companies focus on separate strategic priorities. Comcast spun off its cable TV networks such as MS Now and CNBC into a new company, Versant Media Group, at the start of the year. And America's affordable cities aren't so affordable anymore. Southern states have long attracted newcomers seeking a lower cost of living. But the pandemic turned a trickle into a flood, with companies from Starbucks to Oracle bringing thousands of employees to places like Nashville. The cost of living is rising and overall wages are failing to keep pace. Household incomes in the South average $76,000, well below the national average. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Walker just gave the Cardinals the lead. Home run! Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got
St. Louis, it's time to hit the ballpark. ATL meets STL when the Cardinals take on the Atlanta Braves at Busch Stadium, July 10th through the 12th. Plus, score great weekend giveaways, including a garage shirt and a kid's jersey. Don't miss 3 days of summer baseball, family fun, and Cardinals action. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Relive the magic of 2006 on Saturday, July 11th, when the Cards play the Braves at Busch Stadium. That night, fans will take home a David Eckstein bobblehead presented by Mid-America Transplant. This giveaway celebrates his unforgettable World Series MVP performance and scrappy plays that defined a championship run. Don't miss your chance to add this classic to your collection. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions. Place for independent living for older adults, the place is Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. It was voted U.S. News and World Report's best independent living for 5 consecutive years. They have social events for the residents there, wellness programs. Just go to fairwindsriversedge.com. Schedule a tour and hear about all of the great new updated spaces, all the dining, the social events, the best. fairwindsriversedge.com.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. A record-breaking heat wave has overwhelmed mortuaries in Paris, leaving funeral directors struggling to find space for bodies. New federal figures show that about 3 million fewer people had Affordable Care Act health insurance plans in February compared with the same time last year. And South Korean tech giants Samsung and SK Hynix plan to invest a combined $518 billion in a new computer chip manufacturing hub. Let's get the latest on your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have slow traffic on southbound 270 approaching Olive or south of Olive down to Ladue in that area. It looks like they cleared that stall eastbound 44 east to Elm. Things are in good shape through there now. Eastbound 64 just a little heavy at the Interbelt. Eastbound 5570 still a little slow east to 203. 111 midway into 255 is kind of heavy. There's a little slowdown westbound 5570 just past 159. 255 St. Mary Road up into Godfrey, delays running through there both ways. Eastbound Manchester, midway in from Reese to Sulphur Spring, that's road work backing you up there. And I believe it may be signal problems. There's still a jam on southbound 141 Maryland Heights Expressway at Creve Coeur Mill. It's jammed about midway back to Marine. Don't forget, West Watson is closed between Pagoda Parkway and Weber Hill, so you can't get through between Rott Road and Gravelway for the next 3 months. And Spady, just south of Olive, is closed. That's just through Wednesday. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
We are under an extreme heat warning through Thursday. Mostly sunny and hot today, a high of 97. It could feel like it's 107 by this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, warm and muggy, an overnight low of 78. And another hot day tomorrow with sunny skies, a high 99, and real feel temperatures near 110. Right now, sunshine, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. People in Illinois lost more than $7.7 billion gambling last year. It's a big revenue generator for the state, but very little goes back to help gamblers who get into trouble. Maggie Doherty is a reporter with Capital News Illinois. She and the Illinois Answers Project have been looking into this issue, and she joins me now on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Maggie.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about how much revenue the state of Illinois made on gambling taxes last year. What's that look like for the state as far as what comes into their coffers?
So last year, just looking at gambling revenue from casinos, the legal sports books, the lottery, and those slot machines that are all over the state, that was about $2.6 billion last year.
Where's that money being used in the state?
It's a good question. It goes into sort of the general revenue fund, so it kind of allows lawmakers flexibility there. A small amount goes back to treating gambling addiction, but it's a very small portion. For every $100 of that $2.6 billion that the state collects, only 6 cents goes back to treatment. And then about $4 million goes to a public awareness campaign that you might see, those big billboards that say, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you need help, but it's a very small proportion of what the state's bringing in.
So when it comes to the help that the state does provide for gambling addiction, what forms of help does the state provide?
Yeah, so the state trains some counselors. There is a specific certification that counselors can get for gambling addiction, and a state essentially supported nonprofit provides a lot of that training for free. Now, there's not a lot of people who actually take them up on that offer. There's only 58 gambling certified counselors in the state. And part of the issue there is that reimbursement for counseling is very difficult because gambling addiction is not recognized under the state's Substance Use Disorder Act at this time. There is a bill on Governor Pritzker's desk which would change that. But it means that people coming in to get help for gambling addiction must have some other, alcohol or substance use addiction in order to receive reimbursement on their insurance for treatment, which makes it very difficult, and it does not incentivize counselors. There's also the state nonprofit helpline, which will sort of redirect people to resources, redirect them to Gamblers Anonymous or to the state self-exclusion program, which people can put themselves on the list to be barred from casinos, barred from the legal sports gaming, but it doesn't apply to the slot machines that you can find at your local gas station, can find really in every corner of the state. So there's a lot of limitations and challenges there.
It's interesting, we started off with that $7.7 billion figure that you researched, that people lost gambling last year in the state of Illinois. You mentioned the number of places, casinos, sports books, those slot machines. What have you seen as far as trends about, where people are playing their money and where they're losing big?
Yeah, so the slot machines have been a growing portion of that. We see it in really all corners of the state. Chicago has been the largest holdout for a long time because we've got the casino here, and there was this idea that, the slots will cut into the casino's revenues and it's bad for the unions. But the Chicago City Council is now really looking at opening that up. And, down in Metropolis, for example, by the Kentucky border, there's a AC's Food and Fuel gas station that's got only 6 slot machines, but people have played more than $223 million at this one gas station since it opened about a dozen years ago. So if you think about that, like, that's people playing $1, $2, $5 at a time. How many plays that takes to build up to $223 million? It's people sitting there for hours and hours and hours. And that's what we heard when we spoke to people with gambling addiction, is that it takes over your life in this way, similar to substance use disorder. It's the same kind of brain reaction, the dopamine release that you get from chasing the wins that you would get from taking a drug or alcohol. And so people sat there through the night when they're supposed to be at home, with their kids, or sat there throughout the day when they're supposed to be working at these slot machines. It's hours of people's lives, not just the money that's lost. Another really major and growing trend is the sports wagering. Since that opened legally in 2019, we've seen that grow and grow. And, that $7.7 billion number does not include the wagering on prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket, which have really taken over a lot of the sports wagering as people migrate, perhaps because of the high taxes that Illinois puts on sports books. So we almost don't even really know the full extent of it because of that.
Does it seem like is there any appetite for adding more self-exclusion tools or other things that would help compulsive gamblers?
Yeah, there's definitely appetite for it. Whether the resources are there, I think, is maybe the bigger question. But the state has just entered a contract with a private company that is supposed to essentially update all of the slot machines across the state to have the technology to have self-exclusion, like to scan IDs and connect them to the database, but maintain the privacy considerations for people's data. So the state's definitely working on that with regards to the slot machines. And the state is trying to take some other actions regarding the prediction markets and unlicensed casinos. They've sent some cease and desist letters, whether there's much enforcement action there to crack down on those is kind of an outstanding question. But the gaming board is definitely taking some actions to try to provide a better self-exclusion program and bring these unregulated elements back into the state's sort of network of legal gambling.
Maggie, I'm sorry we're out of time. Great reporting, and hopefully we can have you back on as you continue to look into this issue.
Thanks so much, Megan. Appreciate it.
That is Maggie Doherty, reporter with Capital News Illinois. Capital News Illinois and the Illinois Answers Project have been looking into this issue over a series of articles. Coming up, we are going to give you some new digital terms from our media expert, Julie Smith. It's 8:48.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Are moles tearing up your yard? Don't let these lawn invaders turn your beautiful property into a mess. Rottler Pest Solutions offers professional mole control services to protect your lawn from damage. Visit Rottler.com today to schedule your free inspection.
It's Tom Ackerman. Well, here we go. U.S. against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And what is better than watching Team USA in the FIFA World Cup than watching it with an ice-cold beer in your hand? And what's better than an ice-cold beer in your hand? A fresh beer that is as cold as you will find it from Anheuser-Busch itself. That's right. There is no better place than the beer garden at Anheuser-Busch to watch FIFA World Cup action, including this Wednesday, U.S. against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Live music, $15 Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts. They have collectible cups while supplies last. Visit BudweiserTours.com and experience the United States soccer game at the beer garden. It's Anheuser-Busch, the beer garden. For everything you need to know about the watch party, BudweiserTours.com.
Get ready for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with a Bunches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and along with me, KMOX media expert Julie Smith. One of the things that Julie does for us every once in a while is she's like a digital dictionary. She brings us some of the new terms that we need to know for our digital lives. They're always great. So, Julie, what have you brought for us today?
Oh, I just love these. I love these. Okay. We're familiar with the term burnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's algorithmic burnout. And that means that we are completely exhausted from trying to keep up with everything online. The notifications, the responses, checking your analytics constantly to see, how viral you're going, that can cause exhaustion.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I can see that.
Then there's also AI fatigue, which is different than regular fatigue. It's mental weariness from dealing with AI slop all the time. And I think people are getting more familiar with AI slop and getting better at recognizing it, which is causing the fatigue. One term that kind of scares me a little bit is social search, meaning that many people now are going to social media platforms and using them as search engines.
Oh, like for various topics instead
Yes,
of going
yes.
to traditional search engines?
Right. So teens in particular use TikTok as Google, which, anybody in the world can post anything on TikTok and slap a hashtag on there and it'll show up in search results.
And so then it turns into food for your algorithm.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's social search. Dark social, which sounds more ominous than it really is. There's, like Facebook and LinkedIn, it goes out to a large audience, right? Dark social refers to those little communications that are private, like the texts, WhatsApp groups, direct messages, etc. Something that it's not for public consumption. It's more private. Then there's also, and I think this is a really good one, ambient awareness.
Now, I think of ambience. I think of for us, like in radio, it's the sound. It's ambient sound. It's just what's around you.
What's around you, yeah. So it's the modern way that we know things about people without having to talk to them.
Oh, almost like voyeurism.
Well, right. But what is Facebook if not that, right? And so I have a class reunion coming up this summer. You know how usually there's always been like booklets that talk about what people are up to? Well, that's not necessary anymore because of ambient awareness.
It's kind of creepy, though. Have you ever had someone say to you, bring up something that maybe you posted on Facebook weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, oh, I saw that you're blah, blah, blah. And in your mind, you're thinking, how do they know this? Or how did they infer this? And sometimes it is just they've inferred something from one little thing you've posted or shared on Facebook that maybe you didn't even write. It's a
I
little
wonder,
creepy.
I'd like to come up with a term for the opposite of ambient awareness, meaning when you're not on Facebook in particular, or social media platforms in general, people assume that you know things about them. Like if you have a friend that's moving and posted on Facebook and you're not on Facebook, you're not going to know, right? And people assume that you know things about them because they've posted. But if the algorithm isn't showing their stuff or you're not on that platform, you're not going to know it. So because people
It's
don't
like
really,
being social media obtuse.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. We'll add that to the list. My favorite though is authenticity theater. That's how people post online trying to look authentic. I know it sounds ironic, but it's when you are appearing relatable and genuine, but you're doing it for an audience, not necessarily truly. Then there's productivity theater too, which is the whole idea that instead of actually doing something, you spend time making a to-do list of all the things you need to do. Not that I would know anything about that. There's also main character syndrome. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Okay. That is treating everyday life like you are the star of a movie. You are the center of every story.
Well, that's social media itself.
And I know. That basically describes social media in general. But I'm sure that you have encountered people who have main character syndrome, and they just assume that the world revolves around them and what they post and share.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and so
You're
that
welcome,
we
I
can
think.
so that we can critique other people on social media.
Isn't that the funnest thing to do?
That is KMOX media expert Julie Smith joining us this morning here on KMOX. And make sure you join me again tomorrow morning in the 8 o'clock hour here on 104.1 FM KMOX. More changes at St. Louis's tourism agency. We'll get a visit from Kat Neville from Explore St. Louis. Plus, we're going to update the status of the closed Blues Museum in downtown St. Louis. It's now 8:56. Traffic coming up.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lynch.
Dial down the cell phone fear.